What's up, guys? This is the Producer Pod. Thank you guys for joining us. Today we have some awesome special guests. We got how many times you get shot in the head? Just one. Okay. Okay. We got a gun violence survivor. We got, which is actually, we got two Waynes in the house. So we're privileged with both the Waynes. So we got Wayne 1. Oh, I guess he's Wayne 1 because he was on the podcast already.
Yeah, he's older though.
Wayne 1. Oh, so he might have privileges.
Yeah.
Over the Wayne 1. All right, you're Wayne 1, and then you're Wayne 2. So we got both the Waynes. Got the civil rights activist, media mogul, trillionaire, extraordinaire. Yeah. And then we got Bear himself. He doesn't actually have a name. He is a animal. This is what bears look like. But I'm really happy to have everyone on here and just to get to know you guys' story and everything like that. I know we're a little short on time with you, so we just want to kind of dive deep into it. I want to just kind of get to know where are you from? Like, are you guys all kind of from the same area? Did you guys grow up together?
Yeah. We grew up together, and I'm from Lanham originally. Moved up in Marlboro when I was like 5, and I met him like a little bit after that.
Okay.
So we grew up in Marlboro.
Cool. So you guys like knew each other from like when you guys were kids?
Yeah, probably what, like
5 years old.
Sheesh. That goes way back. That was like 50 years ago.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then me and him we first cousins. So our fathers are brothers. So we've always been close.
That's
always grown
sick.
up.
So you guys see each other for Thanksgiving?
You
have to.
Yeah. We used to always be at my grandma's house back in the day.
That's dope.
Yeah.
You guys had like a close family in that sense?
Kind of, yeah. Like that side of the family, yeah. Like the brothers and sisters, they close. It's more so like when my grandmother's alive, we like every holiday we was always over there. We'd be down there in the basement watching football.
Yeah.
playing video games, playing Genesis or something.
Genesis. What game did you like to play?
Bill Walsh football.
Bring the mic to your head.
Oh yeah.
Bill Walsh football.
Yeah, you gotta hold it.
What's that?
That shows my age.
Yeah,
That was a college football game. Bill Walsh.
Back in the day, I remember Madden. Like I think when Madden just came out, I had like a Nintendo 64. I didn't have cable. I didn't have the internet. I just had a Nintendo, and it was gifted to me. I didn't even realize, like we're so old now that all the stuff that we had back when we were growing up is an antique in a sense, and then you could sell it for like $300 on the market. I just sold my Nintendo 64 box for $300, just the box.
Damn.
Because it's just like they don't make them anymore. So.
That 007, that was the game on.
Oh yeah, that was an old school game.
Yeah,
I was scared of that game.
He was a beast on that. I ain't gonna hold. He was a beast on that. Job.
Really?
Yeah.
I was alright.
Who were you with the hat guy? Who's the hat? Mojo? Was it?
What's the short dude?
What was his name? It was like Penguin. Odd Job.
Job.
Yeah, he would kill you with his hat. That's dangerous, man. That's a skill I want to learn. Just like the head people, whenever I want, just like off with your head.
Right.
Just like. But speaking of heads, dude, like you have like a crazy story of you got shot in the head.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How did that happen? Like, what happened?
Happened when I was driving. It's actually straight bullet, but
wow.
I was driving. Didn't really see it happen. Didn't see, Actually, I thought I hit a car because the area I was in, it was an alley, and sometimes they just take a shortcut. They go through the alley, so I was driving. It was like simultaneous.
Yeah.
It went through my ear at the same time I was driving, so I hit a parked car. But I thought it was a car coming out of the alley, just didn't see.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
So how old were you in like?
Shoot, I was, someone say 18.
18.
Yeah.
So like, did that like kind of change your feeling towards guns?
No, not initially about guns.
What was your reaction to that?
My reaction. Just trying to survive, really.
Yeah? You just kind of didn't even know what hit you.
Yeah. Trying to figure out what's going on first. So
So
I said I didn't even know it was gunshot at first, so I had to assess on my surroundings, find out what was going on. First, like I told you, I thought a car hit me. So I actually started driving again off my adrenaline.
You said car hit me, and then you pointed at Wayne. Like, he's just the guy. He's the car hitting me guy, and I'm the bullet guy.
Taking it back.
Yeah. There's,
Visualizing it, yeah.
there was no one like else in the car.
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine that was in the car. He got struck too. Actually, the bullet went through his neck, came out his eye socket, went through my ear.
Oh my
Broke
god.
this side of my jaw, went 3/8 of my brain.
So it broke what?
Broke this jaw.
On your jaw?
It went through my ear, broke this jaw, and went 3/8 of my brain.
What's that?
3/8 is about this much.
Oh wow. So it punctured your brain?
3/8 inside.
3/8. Sheesh. So what was the aftermath like? What happened?
I lost my hearing on this right side of my ear, and then my jaw doesn't open widely anymore.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
That's kind of. I think that's what happened to Kanye. He
Yeah,
got hit.
kind of talk like that 50 Cent and Kanye.
Yeah, like the
Or
X-ray, all the
something.
greats got shot in the head.
Right.
Kanye, he got in a car accident, but he
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
the
true.
cars,
he
That-
got
yeah.
shot in his mouth.
Jeez, so are you working on a rap career?
Nah, nah.
No?
Not at all. I do music though.
What?
Production.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's what's up. Yeah, Wayne was talking.
Mhm.
Wayne too was telling me about some of the production.
Wayne-O, he just be Wayne.
Wayne-O?
Yeah.
Wayne-O, okay.
Yeah, Wayne.
That's how we differentiate. It's the two.
All right. So what kind of production are you working on?
I do all types, man, really, but mostly rap, but
Mm.
anything. I did all types of music, man.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to stray a little too far from
The acting.
the gun violence part because I did have some follow up questions,
So,
which I know this is it just kind of like as a person who experienced it, it's maybe a little different than because it's like it wasn't a direct like someone was like pulled a gun and was shot you, but because it still happened to you, I bet you there's some sort of like trauma towards guns or something, or how did it affect you?
trauma, nah, no, nah, I don't have trauma from it. Outside of just, the way we grow up, we
What do you mean by that?
internalize we kind of normalize like PTSD. That's like normal anxiety and stuff just growing up in our community.
Mm.
So that's like a normal, like forms of survival. We
Okay.
kind of internalize that stuff. So it's like the trauma we kind of take is we suppress it and we normalize it, so to
Mm.
speak. So I don't have a different viewpoint on that part because I kind of knew the rules of, meaning that it wasn't even my neighborhood, but just to say my demographic, I guess,
Mm.
back over back.
So why do you think that is?
It's just culture, just the world, really. Violent world, man.
Okay.
Especially where I reside at. So,
Which was this? Where was that?
I said shot in D.C. actually, Southeast D.C., Washington D.C.
Mm.
But even when I was raised at Landover, Capitol Heights, that's all the same. Where the elements can change at any moment, and you learn that as a kid. As you grow up, everyone knows like the rules. It's like certain rules and boundaries that you don't cross, and and you kind of. It's like a game, man. You know the rules. You know where if you go outside these boundaries, what's the consequence to those? Yeah.
So what? So I guess just to kind of like paint it for people who maybe don't know those rules, like what would you say like are the top like 3 rules to kind of like in survival in a sense?
Well, they don't have to. All humans have it. It's like a natural instinct.
Mm.
You get it in yourself, like they call it intuition.
Mm.
So we just we got like I guess the word would be hyper
Awareness?
intuition. Yeah,
Awareness, okay.
awareness, all that.
Mm.
Cause it can be something as simple as subtle as eye contact.
Mm.
Can nonverbal
Mm.
can turn into something deadly.
Yeah.
Just walking up the street, you just gotta know it's a friend or foe. And whatever choice you make might be on us. Right?
So you
Man.
would say having the eye contact is beneficial or not?
I would say benefit. I do always do eye contact.
Mm.
Something about fear. Okay, hold my mic. Something about fear. Sometimes I think actually incites violence.
Yeah, I can
I
see
noticed that with people.
That's a
Get
that's
more of a it's like a power thing.
Yeah, I've noticed that sometimes. Maybe it's it had to do with where I was and maybe the color of my skin or something like that. Because I felt like when there were some parts in Chicago that I was in South Chicago actually, and so I learned quick that I was in the wrong area. But it was the same thing. It was a survival thing, and the only way I knew how to make it out is by being completely direct with every person that I was walking by, or just like, hey, how you doing? Like really just direct energy.
Yeah.
And it's like that'll itself, like people will respect that, are like, okay, he has this thing going on over here, I'm gonna just keep it moving over here. But yeah, like that eye contact, I could definitely see that.
It definitely diffuse a lot of things.
But it's also weird because I've gotten certain situations, even in DC, where I'll make eye contact with someone walking by, and then he'll just like, hey, we got a problem? Like he'll just start. I'm like, what? Like, and of course I'm gonna keep looking at him until he walks away. I'm not gonna turn my back because that's.
You know the rules there.
Yeah, I mean, but for people who don't. Yeah.
No, it's a terrible thing. Just like you said, nothing needs to be explained. You had it naturally.
Well, I mean, I don't think I had it naturally. Like I kind of learned it through traveling, vibing with different cultures and stuff like that. You learn it, you pick it up. But I don't know if not everyone has it. Some people are just so unaware and they just walk. They don't care where they are and they just think that nothing will happen to them.
That's true.
And then they say, oh, I'm a victim because something like that happens. It's like, no, you were in the wrong place, at the right time in a sense. But yeah, that's huge, is the awareness side of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably experienced the eye contact thing when you're out around in nightlife in DC. Because certain people be drunk and you can just kind of tell, like, yeah, don't even look at this dude, because you make eye contact, he gonna want to come up and start talking to you, like all that dumb stuff. So it's like you gotta just pick and choose, you know what I mean? But then, like you said, sometimes you gotta have that eye contact for respect type thing.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's what it is. Just signifies is that like subtle respect you have for that person. If they try to, like, you see a glare in their eyes or some sort of little glint,
right?
You're like, what's going on here? Like there's times I'll be in third world countries and I don't know the language at all. And these people, like, I've been to Trinidad and there's someone that was just walking with like a machete and he's walking towards me and I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know, this is an eye contact thing. Like this is like a situational awareness. I gotta create some space between me and this guy just in case. But you can't just do it. Like you can't evoke fear. You can't show fear if you feel fear, because that's the worst way for something to happen. Because there'll be times where, like, this was in Dominican Republic. Well, I'll tell you about how I got past this shot of the machete guy. But like, because these are moments in your life where you don't realize that, like, everything just seems normal up until a certain point, and you're like, my life really could just end right here, and if I don't act accordingly, something really bad could happen. And it's like, how did I even get myself into this situation? You're like, where did this all come from? But like, now you're here, you got to deal with it. So what are you gonna do? And the way that I was trained in martial arts is that in order to not show fear, you have to almost confront the energy.
That's it.
And so, same thing with this guy. If he sees me walking away from him, then he might be like, oh, this is a guy I can pick on or something like that.
Aggressive.
So I'm gonna walk towards him in a sense. I'm not gonna change the direction I'm walking. If I see him walking this, if I can get to the other side of the sidewalk, I will. But I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna get out of the way. No, it's gonna be like, I have this thing, I'm gonna go over here. But like, I didn't need to go there, and that was the closest way to get to do it. So the guy's walking right by, and maybe he just finished a shift at chopping coconuts or whatever, and that's why he had the machete or something. But he was tired, skinny guy, just kind of limping with the machete, and I just walked by him like nothing, like it was nothing. And nothing happened, obviously. So sometimes it's just better to, like, keep your cool in those situations, and and
Yeah, for sure.
you'll keep your skin.
right, literally.
Yeah.
Escalate a lot of situations, but
Yeah.
definitely would.
But I also wanted to touch on what's your view on like gun control?
I'm for it.
You're for it?
Yeah.
With like restricting like
No,
the
not
people or
restricting. Yeah.
what?
I think people should be able to conceal.
Anybody?
Now, what do you mean by anybody?
Like how accessible it is? Like anybody could just go to
Say
a.
anybody. I don't want to stamp anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to.
Wayno, yeah, he stands by that. Anyone can have a gun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clarity on this.
No, no.
Yeah.
No, but in the sense that people can just go to a place and then get a gun within that
No, I think
that
you should
day.
have some type of, I don't know, man. You should have some type of screening in the process, but now it's started being, it's crazy. Some people, you say, yeah, it's definitely need to.
Mm.
Definitely need background checks.
But what about like a mental health check or something like that? Because that's like a huge part. You see all these
Absolutely.
big shootings, and it's just because out of nowhere they just like, you know what? Oh, I'm triggered. Something. I got to do something.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And it's, you'd be surprised, it's just 18-year-old assault rifles.
really,
Yeah, that's shouldn't be. I don't think you should.
So you think there's an age?
on it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You should be able to purchase an assault rifle for alcohol, in my opinion.
before alcohol,
Yeah, in my opinion.
you shouldn't.
Yeah, he's saying you shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, that I agree.
And like you said, it should be some type of mental check, but I don't know how that process will go. I
Yeah,
don't know how
like
you would-
would it be?
No, it's just a, man, it's just a catch-22 with it, man.
Mm, because it's like, doesn't it? If it's not that we're just accepting, it's like, are we limiting the rights of our American right to have a weapon? Like that's what everyone is gonna like. A lot of people would say that are pro guns. They're like, oh no, he's just one person. It shouldn't affect the rest of us and all this. But in a way, like even places like England, they don't have guns. They have a lot of other types of violence, like a lot of stabbings and stuff like that. That is maybe, I don't know if it's worse, but like there's always some sort of effect from either if you restrict it or you accept it. It's like, all right, if you restrict it, maybe there's less gun violence, but there's more other type of violence, or maybe bombs or whatever. Like maybe it's escalated even further. So
That's the thing.
It's hard to
and
know.
You gotta be careful when you touch that. So I don't know too much what you can really do to restrict it. Because really it's on the individual, it's on people, and
mm,
they're gonna find a way. Like you said, find what you're alluding to. Really,
yeah, and I'm
Gonna find
thinking.
a way.
Yeah, I'm thinking the education is probably the most important part. Like educating people with guns, how to use them, when to use them. Like I think even know how to store them. Like there's a lot of just accidental, gun situations. Clearly with you, I don't know how it even happened. To be honest, but like that it can happen in an accident and
sure.
like
Do it all the time.
being
Clean in the gun.
yeah.
Load it around in it. Yeah.
Did you guys have guns?
Yeah, I got that.
Mm.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's kind of like your view on that? On like just being a gun owner and the restriction and all that. Like.
I think you don't need certain high-powered guns. I mean, what do you need that for? But to protect yourself, to protect your own, if you aren't things like that, then yeah, it's cool. But you don't need an AR-15, 90 round.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, but maybe these raccoons are gonna start lashing out on us, and we're gonna have to get our AR-15. Just like they're all.
Small invasion.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have that mentality where they preparing for that. So
Yeah, that's true.
they feel like they need that. But,
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
It's success.
in everyday life, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah. But what's like the craziest gun you shot?
I haven't really shot too many guns, honestly.
Mm.
I shot 40. I shot AR-15. That's it, shotgun.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I
I ain't really shot too.
Back there, that's good for the house.
And hit
Yeah?
Shotguns protect their home. Yeah.
So I think Thanksgiving would just be a lot more relaxed if you just after setting up the food and everything, and you just put the shotgun right on the on the table. You're like, all right, guys, let's dig it. let's eat. And we just kind of like, if there's like a quarrel, we just look at the shotgun. And you're like, all right,
but I say, well, nobody start fighting.
Yeah. But so how did you guys all know each other? So you grew up, you guys were good friends, but do you guys also know each other?
Yeah. We live together. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Georgia. Yeah.
Oh, well, all three of you?
Nah, them two.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I grew up with him. Me and him met, like I said, when we were like 5. And then later on, I met Dwayne. We started kicking and we just all like pretty much came up together. I think I was in high school when I met you. Met Dwayne.
Nah, you probably met him back in the days. Before then, but started hanging out like. Yeah.
We actually started hanging out in high school.
Okay. Was it kind of like you wanted to be a roommate with him, but he didn't want to be a roommate with you, so you were like, I'm going to get the other Wayne instead?
Nah. At the time, me and him was just trying to move, so.
Yeah, it's about having the same idea, really.
Yeah, same idea and timing and shit, we picked up and moved to Atlanta.
Yeah, it's crazy that we just kind of, I think just us as men, we just kind of like, all right, you have the same thinking as me, like, let's just be roommates, why not? Like, that's kind of how it was with my roommate too. It's like, I actually found him on Craigslist. He was a creepy Cuban, really short Napoleon complex kind of guy. First thing I asked him is like, you kill anybody? And he's like, uh-huh. So I was like, you're gonna be my roommate, like, because I just like that energy, that sarcasm. He could tell that I'm just like, I'm just gonna joke, you know. I'm joking around with him, and he's like, all right, you're lighthearted, like you got a good head on your shoulders, I think. But like you get to know each other a lot better being roommates. It just like elevates the relationship in a way. You guys are like, there's like a deeper respect for one another in a sense, because you're like, I know what that person's really going through, and you have to have real conversations, because it's like there's certain times that you're like, no, that was really not cool what you did, and like you have to know that. You got to respect certain boundaries. Like you got to really put that, because when you're living in a place with somebody, like if you're not putting your foot down for certain things, like, no, this is just how I want to live, and you get to choose to be with it or not. Like you guys start to like
clash.
You can clash and also find a good. That's where you could create like a brotherhood in a sense. And so then, like, sometimes the roommates could be like your business partners and like people like that you really trust, because it's like you can build and grow with them, because you're already saving money together. It's like, what else could you guys be working on? So like, has any of that kind of crossed your minds? Like,
definitely, that's kind of summed it up, like a brotherhood.
So what kind of things are you like looking to like invest in? Is like, do you guys have like certain schemes? You're like, all right, you know, if we do this, and like we could do this together. It's like, if we did this on the weekend, we could make a whole bunch. Because that's what I'm like with my friends. I'm like, I just found a farmer's market. And how much does it cost to put like a store there? $20. So if we sell this, and we could do this, and we could just make like $1,000 on a week, like a weekend. Like something like that. I'm always thinking like that.
Got to.
That's the way to think.
But is there any things that you guys have like?
Should we be talking about starting a podcast like this?
Yeah.
Starting doing videos, skits, just getting our thoughts out there, ideas out there, and really like starting something like this.
That would be cool. A rival podcast.
Right.
Don't watch it. Only see Wayne when he's on this one. Yeah. That one. No, it'll be both Waynes. But no, that's cool. I think that like in a sense that we kind of overthink the starting at something out, because it's like it maybe seems intimidating, but the more you just do it, the more you learn like what goes into it, and it's gonna be effort no matter what you're gonna start. It's like, all right, I'm gonna learn how to edit videos or do the lighting or something like that, or like that video sucked, or like why did that not work? It's like there's gonna be an adjustment period to doing something, and so you can't be afraid of that, like what people think of that, because it's like when you try something, it doesn't mean that you identify by those mistakes,
right?
You know, like people are only gonna really remember the good things that you've done, and they don't have enough. Like, they don't care. Right. They really don't care. Like, they're just gonna be like, all right, whatever. That was awkward. Or, like, or sometimes you're gonna find something that works in that. Like, I feel like now, because I'm just like, I like to talk about real things with real people. You know, like, I first started the podcast thinking that I want to talk about just music production and music stuff and stuff like that. But the more I'm going into it, I'm like, no, I just want to connect with real people, talk about real life situations. And also the come up, and obviously as a producer, my come up and my perspective, but like getting to know your guys' come up, like how you guys hustled and how you got to where you are today as well. So like where are you at in your life?
I own a landscaping company, so I hustle in that way. I do maintenance work, just any type of hustle.
Okay.
That I can do, man. That's what I do.
That's what's up. Maintenance. Is it? Do you have your own company?
Yeah.
Nice. So you're an independent contractor. People call you up. You have like you have a Yelp.
No, I work at a building as an independent contractor now, but I do side work. That's the
hustle.
Trying to stay busy, man.
Yeah, I know what that's like. My friend, I got a friend who's a plumber, and he has like the same kind of mentality where it's like he gets calls out of the blue, and he's like, all right, well, I got to work on a deck now. I'm going to be, and it's just like, it's about figuring it out. It's like sometimes you don't even know how to do what they're asking you, but you're just like, I got it, I'll be there. And then you show up, and you're like, what is this? Like, what did I get myself into? But I think that that's kind of how really successful people operate, is that it's kind of like they'll ask, they'll show up, and then they'll figure out the situation afterward. You know, like adapting.
That happens.
Yeah, you have to sink or swim. You know, everything ain't always gonna be convenient.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you gotta figure it out.
Yeah, and it's not gonna go according to plan, and then it's like, oh man, like this, like the charger. Like I think I just lost my charger, but like we just had to like shift gears. It's like I almost feel like complaining about something is a waste of time.
Right,
you
you
know?
gotta deal with it regardless.
Yeah, it's just like talking about it is not gonna make it any better. It's gonna be like, okay, what's the solution? Like, be more solution based. Do you think that's more of like a man kind of mentality? Because I feel like women just like to create problems a lot. I don't know if it's just me, but like a lot of situations. Yeah, maybe it is.
Very logical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
You see, I was clubbing on Saturday, and so there's this girl, and she kind of waved me over, and I was like, all right, let's see what this is about. And so she's with her friend, and she's like, I want you to talk to my friend. She thinks you're cute or whatever. I'm like, all right. So I'm like, hey, how you doing? And then so she's just like, no, I'm having the worst day ever. I'm like, what? Like, what did I get myself into? And yeah, and so because as a man, you're gonna be like, oh, so what's wrong? Like, oh no, it's gonna turn around and all that. Like, you want to be like optimistic and be there for her, or whatever. But I was like, dude, that sucks. And maybe that's what they needed to hear. They just needed to hear that, man, the situation sucked.
Yeah, I think that's what they want a lot of times. We think we're logical, so we might come up with a solution to the problem, but they kind of just want you to like that empathy. You to have some empathy for their situation or whatever. Yeah. But we be thinking like, let's just fix the problem.
Yeah, really?
You leave with problems now.
Yeah. But there's always going to be some sort of problem, even in the relationships that don't have that.
Right, that was the first introduction.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh, hell no. Yeah. That's what they say though. Like,
when they get to talk about their family and stuff, we like.
Yeah. That's so. Well, you guys been on any like recent first dates?
First?
Yeah.
Not recent.
Do you guys get laid?
Of course.
Yeah, I told you before, I never really did the whole date thing.
No?
I did that like with my ex, like once we was already like fucking with each other, but I'm not really trying to go like, especially like a dinner date. Like I'm not trying to do that with somebody I don't know. Like once I know I fuck with you like that, then I might not even want to be out in public with her. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I gotta fill her out first before we do all that. So
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
true.
really be doing like first dinner dates.
You went on a date.
A date recently?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that. Like, I don't know if I would consider them dates, but I guess they are dates. You know, they're like meetups, and we have like intimate conversation. I don't look at. I'm less invested in the, let's make one day, like this thing, and it's gonna be called a date. Like, I just want to like hang out with that
I'm
person,
cool with
and,
that, yeah.
and it's like, let's just have fun. Like I was talking to you about this one girl, and I was like, all right, I want to take her out, and it was like 3 a.m. Like, I was just finished clubbing, and I was like, I just want to hang out with her and just see if she's down. Yeah, I just took her to the cathedral, and I took her out for like a breakfast, and just ate in the courtyard, and just that was fun. And then we went to like a cool farmer's market, but like, it doesn't need to be this like wine and dine dinner.
Right,
Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna
right,
go to
right.
a movie and it's gonna be this.
Exactly.
It's like, it
Yeah,
could
I'm
just
not
be
with that.
something where it's just you guys are just hanging out, kicking it, and just vibing out. Make it a moment. Make it something. Like, that's better to me than a date.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's asking.
Yeah,
That's the way
make
to
it
do it.
cheap too. That make it-
Yeah, because that is like, what do you think about that? Like the new wave of like, oh, I want this man, like he's gonna pay for my thing, and I'm like, because I know it's not. I guess it's not a new mentality, but like I've never been into like, oh, I'm gonna pay on the first date.
It's roughed up.
The world.
These prices,
Yeah.
inflation.
Mm,
I never really got into that, like you said,
mm.
but
You never worn like a nice suit, and you were like, I'm gonna take this baddie out. I just met her, and I'm gonna show her the best night she's ever had. Yeah, because it's like you're starting it off with like the worst expectations in the relationship. It's like, no, we're gonna be normal. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna take you out to this really expensive.
expectations.
Yeah, exactly. You start out with a bang. It's just like it all gonna fizzle out. It's like create a momentum of it. Like, you gotta earn this, and it's like, all right, I'm feeling like I want to invest a little bit more in this relationship. I'm gonna. Oh, you know what? I really love what we did like 3 weeks ago. Let's plan a trip. Let's do this. Like, you start to baby step it, and then before you know it, now you're going on a cruise and you're taking her out to wherever, like the Bahamas, and maybe you're paying for dinner for this, but like, you already know that like this person's a real one. She's gonna stick by you. You're not just gonna waste your money on some.
And you, by that point, you actually want to do it. Like, you
Yeah.
want to do it. You're not doing it because you feel like, oh, first date, I was supposed to do this and that. Like, it's genuine.
Yeah.
You have a connection with that person, so you might want to go on a trip with them. You might want to take them to that fancy restaurant or do whatever. But like, make me want to do that first. Like, don't just expect me to do it just for the pleasure of your company. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
it's
not
like,
with that.
and it's almost that like I think society makes you feel like, oh, I need to earn her time. It's like, no, this is like a shared value proposition. Like, we're both coming to the plate, and you're gonna get something out of it the same way I'm gonna get something out of it. It's like,
Exactly.
I think that was where it shifted for me mentally when I was younger, because I thought like, oh, I need to impress, I need to like seem a certain way, but it really came down to like what's the value I'm bringing to the table, and it's like, that should be enough.
Exactly.
I don't need to buy. I don't need to
Right,
earn
right.
earn it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, if you're gonna want to like have sex or whatever, it's not gonna be because it's like, oh, I did all of this.
Right.
I wooed you into doing it. It's like,
Right.
no.
Like you said, if they really want to kick it with you, it could be anywhere, a park,
Mm-hmm.
walking, wherever. If they really want to kick it with you, they're gonna come.
Yeah.
They're gonna come and kick it. You don't have to take them,
Mm.
and do it big, or you shouldn't have to anyway.
Mm. And it's interesting because when you're texting a girl, that stage when you're like, all right, well, are we gonna vibe? Like, what is this like? It sucks because it's so sensitive now. It's like you can just say one message, you're like, oh, I just messed up. Yeah.
Texas, I get a little. I overthink the Texas. That's it, man. You say the wrong thing, you gotta be like, hold on. Because now you can't say what you're doing anymore.
Really?
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
You're
want
not
that.
supposed to say it.
What?
It's not supposed to be eternal. I don't know, because people are programmed. So, like you said, society says you don't supposed to do it. You guys don't send WYD. So now, when they see it, they just get offended. But I really want to know what you're doing. So I can plan accordingly.
Yeah. Or like when
Yeah, it's general conversation.
It's
Or they don't want you to ask how they're doing.
yeah, as if well, I guess sometimes I go like, hey, how's your Friday been? Like something simple like that. So sometimes you get your foot through the door, but
It's
even
icebreaker,
then,
man. It's just like, let's get it.
but like the bar is kind of it's getting even higher for some reason. Like I just want to be.
picking you up at 8. That's what they're supposed to want. But
It's like how many times you gonna text back and forth, and it's like for me, it's a means to an end. So I'm just gonna text you, and it's like you want to hang out, like let's do it. But they need to feel the comfort of the back and forth. Oh, he's not crazy or whatever. It's just like no, it's like isn't it kind of crazy that texting what texting even is? It's like you're at a place in your day. And you're going to work or you're tired and you're just, well, you might send a message, you're in a different mood, and you're just like, oh, I want to talk to you right now. But then you have to wait for that response.
Right.
And so you'll be at work or something like this, and you're in, like having an irritating day, you got to fix this or whatever, and then she sends you a message, and you're like, oh, now I'm not even in the mood to respond to this, and you're just like, what am I going to say? It's like, okay, now I'll go to, oh, then
I do that all the time. I'll read a text, and in my head I responded, but I didn't never really respond.
Oh, really? Yeah, because then if you don't respond, sometimes they get mad about that too. So it's like there's no winning.
Nah.
it's good when you want to jump that line, you gotta say, hold on, I'm gonna send this.
Oh,
That's when you can tell you react when you get a ping. Oh, okay. Be happy with
you send dick pics?
No.
No.
I get aggressive with text though, just enough where it's almost sort of like manipulative, because I can get out of it easy. I'm like, no, I didn't mean it. I was talking about you. Like if you say something like my back was tight, I'm like, oh yeah, it's good to be tight. But
yeah,
it's flirtatious, but I can easily jump right out of that if you get offended. Yeah.
That's
you get
funny.
offended, I'm like, no, I'm talking about your back. But if you take it sexual, which sometimes they do, you get that notification.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got that the deep tissue massage angle. I'm like, oh my back, I need a deep tissue. You know, like some.
Yeah, you can say that like, oh, you need a massage.
Yeah.
And it's a text, so it's not as awkward. Because she doesn't even respond back, then you just, well, fuck it. But.
For me, I'll be the one like I need a massage, and then see how they respond.
Yeah.
Because if I'm offering something too much, like it's like, oh, I'm extending, I'm investing too much, but you don't want to seem like that's the thing is. I saw this one video and it's kind of like sums up the dating hemisphere is literally there's these two people, they're facing each other and there's this box and you hit the box and it skips the person and you can just have a conversation, but at any moment during that conversation you hit the box and they're like done, just move on, get to the next guy. And so I had one question. It was like, what was something that was like traumatic to you or whatever? And the guy's like, I was bullied in high school, and this, and then the girl just like hits it, and like he was just like opening up to her and just being real. But the fact that he was just so willing to be so forthcoming with that information, she just didn't respect it. It's almost like it was just like, oh, it's just too easy. Like this person just cares too much. Like it's almost like when you don't and you just lean back and you just kind of let the investment passively happen, they're more willing to actually be like, oh, this guy's like, I want his attention. It's like, and it's like, no, we want to I want to build something that where we're caring about each other, but you can't skip a phase where you just like, hey, I'm just gonna pretend like I don't care about this. We're both gonna pretend like we don't care, and then
sometimes you get that. It's a stalemate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nobody want to break.
Yeah, nobody want to break. Nobody want to break. Yeah, you gonna get that. The higher you go in quality. That's the higher you go in quality. But we all men, you like quality, and you're gonna try to get the best. So the higher you get in quality, some of that shit, like you said, you're gonna reach. Still, somebody ain't gonna want to break. And sometimes you're gonna have to break. Sometimes you gotta be a hunter.
Yeah.
You just gotta know you just gotta know how to balance it. And that's how I learned this. I learned more game. Because my game sucked more LTR, long-term relationship game, because my game was just more hit you and dismiss you. So when it comes to long-term attraction, it's like, okay, this is getting longer than what I do now. So it's like your game elevates. So you learn you have to sometimes be aggressive in certain situations. And sometimes you gotta fall back. Some girls, women, they want that. They want that aggression, that approach. They want to feel pursued. You just got to pick up on that. You go, okay, I see what you want.
Yeah,
they'll give you hints. They'll definitely give you hints, but
pretty much in any like how they respond to you is just like their blueprint. Like they're telling you what they kind of are looking for. I see it like, oh, if she starts texting multiple messages, I'm like, oh, she's just a sporadic texter. She wants me to be sporadic. She wants me to kind of match that energy. That's kind of the mentality I have going into a lot of like texting or whatever. Like actually, majority of my, I guess short-term interactions where it's just like either one night or someone I have just around that's more casual. It just comes from like me being so reserved and not even like caring that much, and maybe I'll ask certain like questions about her, but she almost knows nothing about me, and they actually like that. They like not knowing you in a sense, like
mysterious. Yeah.
They just want someone to talk to, vent, and then it's like they go home, like they have their fun.
Ask the right questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess that's the name of the game now. But
Nah, I definitely be seeing you out there. You be doing your thing. I ain't gonna put you out there, but you be doing your thing.
Yeah, but like it's on a public forum like this, you always want to be like, no, I don't. I'm just like a.
Watch what I say.
I'm just a Christian. No. Honestly, it's. I actually had this. Maybe you guys can weigh in on this because this was kind of a debate I had, and I don't know if I was coming from a judgmental place. What do you guys think about someone who works in a strip club, who is religious, who's like super godly, who like is like, I go to church on Sundays and I pray to the Lord and I'm all this, forgive my sins and all this, but then just goes right back to the strip club to work on the pole?
Could be, man.
Oh, you mean work as a stripper?
Or just work at the strip club like that. Like, you're going to be putting yourself in that. It's like, it's kind of against your religion, I would think, right?
Could be, but even biblically, the harlot was one of Jesus' most loyal person.
The who?
A harlot. Was one of his most loyal people. So, when it comes to that, I'll more so judge your character more so than that.
Yeah, well,
like
definitely.
If you're loose with it, and then I'll say, you have the spirit of lust on you, then of course. But if it's just a job, means to him, then that's how I respect it until you show otherwise. The fruit you bear.
But isn't there like a kind of expectation as a person who's religious?
Preacher or something? Yeah. If you were, and how religious is she? Is she a Bible thumper? Like that man, she can be spiritual.
But how is that even the thing? Like, how is there a depth of like how religious you are? It's like, are you religious or not religious? Like,
there's definitely levels.
You think?
Yeah,
really?
For sure.
Definitely.
For sure.
It's like your pastor, you're gonna hold higher than a member. That's just
okay.
Anywhere you're gonna do that. You're gonna look at the head, like a corporation. You're gonna start from the head. Like even when, like if McDonald's, you could have a regular worker. If they fuck up, they're going to the head. They're suing the head. They're not suing that person. They're not individualizing the corporation. And that's kind of with that, like it's levels to it. So if you're just a regular person that goes to church, some people go to church, they're spiritual, but they're still finding themselves.
But maybe that's what it is that they don't actually know what it means to be spiritual or like be that religious, but they're just learning what it is, and then they finally get to that point. They're like, oh, I did mess up this way, and I shouldn't have done this, because they actually start to understand the religion itself. But
it could be.
But that's why I see it as kind of like either you're religious and about it, or you really don't know what it's about and you pretend to be religious.
You could do that too.
Yeah.
I say you had to have if I was having a conversation and getting exactly what you, because it could be actually genuine and really pursuing that. You just gotta open up that conversation, find out where their mind is, and find out where they are spiritually. But I wouldn't use that as a marker to say Because then you're casting judgment, and are you correct? That's an assumption.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
by making that assumption, you have to be correct, or else you're an idiot, so to speak, humbly. So I wouldn't want to go on a limb where I'm casting it like, you're not religious, and you say, well, I go to work here.
Yeah.
And then what else do I have? Like, my character's better than and
Yeah,
they try, you're a liar, you're a deceitful.
That's where it goes down like a slippery slope.
So it's like, let me hear you conversate, your words, your actions, your spirit is going to mask itself, it's going to show itself.
Yeah, because you could be in there talking to people about religion.
There you go.
The sinners got to hear the word too, you know what I mean? And it's like, why preach to the people that's in church? You gotta go somewhere.
So you go to the strip club and you go see that one.
You gotta go to the ones that need the saving, the healing.
Yeah. Saint Mary. I love that, the stripper Saint Mary over there.
So if they in there, you know, spreading the word and like he said, living truth, you can. The environment doesn't matter.
Let me preface
I like that,
realistically, this is probably not. I wouldn't bet money that on this.
But
I just want to preface.
it's a
but it's a but.
It's a
That's
slippery
big but.
slope.
It isn't the environment.
But it's a dude that is an older dude that comes around DuPont to the clubs, and he's a religious dude. He passes out like flyers, I guess for church, some of his church or whatever, but try and spread the word or whatever. So it's kind of something similar.
Yeah. Have you seen those guys in DC? They'll have the megaphone, just yelling at you.
Yeah.
It's like, how is that helping?
Yeah.
I have some videos of him. I need to upload. Yeah, those kind of funny.
He was so extra.
Yeah. I was saying that you know he's a producer too.
Yeah. So yeah, I produce hip hop, R&B, house music, EDM, Afro, reggaeton. Like when you hear someone that's like, oh, I make it all or whatever like that, you're like, well, we probably don't do it all very well. You know, you just
exactly what trade master now.
Yeah, but in a sense, like I've wanted to learn. Like I started from a classical background where I played clarinet, and then I started teaching myself piano, and then I would go to the Apple store and learn how to make beat. Well, I just make beats on the Garage Band because I didn't have a computer. But I wanted to get so good at what I was doing that I felt like understanding all the different genres is how I would that's my music theory. Like I didn't need to go to school for it. Like I just needed to absorb like this is what this sounds like. This is what this sounds like. You get a taste for music, and then you get feeling, and then you learn how to make those chords, and you deconstruct certain songs that you like. So it's like the more genres that you're familiar with, the better your craft is going to be. So for me, like I dived into so many, like even Arabic music and someone, this actually scammer, this guy from New York, he hit me up and he's like, well, I didn't know he was a scammer at the time because he approached me right. Like he said, hey, I have an opportunity with this really A-list celebrity, which actually ended up hitting, and I ended up getting a placement with her. And now it has a 12 million streams on it, and so I'm like, all right, so now I got that under my belt, but I didn't know that at the time. So he was kind of like a scammer, but he kind of was like, because he still cut me out of that deal. So it's like I technically did that project, but I didn't get credit for it. So I'm grateful that it got placed, but it also is like, you're a scammer. You really did me wrong. But he said, hey, you know, can you do Arabic music after I finished this placement? He's like, I need you to make this beat for this artist. And I was like, all right, and I just sent it to him, and it was like, all right, they love it, perfect. That was what's up. Like one shot, one kill. It's like, all right, great. And so then he's like, all right, can you do Arabic music? And so I'm already like, all right, let me just try to get this money. And like, yeah, I can do Arabic music. I've never done this before, but he's like, all right, here's the references. I want it to sound like this. And so I'm like figuring out how to make traditional Arabic music, like what they're dancing to and everything, like at a wedding or whatever. And I'm like, all right, how am I gonna do this? Like live, it's a lot of live sounds, so you gotta figure out where you get these sounds from. So I figured out how to, like, there's this cool contact library called Ethnic World. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have the voices and then they have the instruments, and it's got these really interesting flutes and kodos and all sorts of ethnic sounds, and it just like livelied up the whole like track. And you can do like slight automation to a certain sound that makes it more real, like vibratos and stuff like that, by like modulating the pitch in the MIDI and stuff like that. But you get more and more depth with the sound selection with it, the more real it's gonna sound. And yeah, so I sent him that, and they love it. I'll send you your 1800. I'm like, awesome. When is that gonna happen? Oh, I need you to do this song first. And then I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to until you send me the money. And then it's just dead. It's like, okay, well, I just did all that for you. So I was like, thanks, man. Yeah. But I learned. You learn from it, though. Like, I'm so appreciative that I like that pressure of needing to show up and be like, all right, I got to figure it out. And you need it by tomorrow. Got it. I got it, you know. But that's just how you learn. So, yeah, I think just throughout. I mean, how long have you been making music?
Long time. Actually, I'll say about 14 years. And I listen to a lot of music too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a reason why I do a lot. I played in bands. I still play in bands, so I'm an actual musician. But I always listen to all types of music. All of us.
Mm-hmm.
We listen to our playlist, you'd be amazed.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit around people from the 50s to 60s, any genre, any people, and know basically that music. So when it comes to make, that's why I say I do it all, and I listen to it all. And then sort of like you, the only thing that challenged me was that my cousin, I was telling him, he's got into film. He started off in music, and he went to Full Sail, and then he said he wanted to do movie production. So he wanted me to start doing scores.
Where's your microphone?
Oh, so when he wanted to start doing scores, I was like, I never did that before. So let me try studying that and starting doing that. So I did a few scores for him, but it was similar to what you said. It's like, all right, let me lock in and see what this is. And there's a lot of ambience and shit like that's different. No drums, no. You trying to create these projects. But yeah, man, just listen to all types of music. So it's easier to create when you already absorbing all types of music.
So how did the score end up turning out?
They're good.
Yeah?
They're good. Yeah, he liked it. They're good.
What was that movie? It was Interstellar?
No, it's
This guy is the guy who scored Interstellar. This is the ghost producer right here. You thought it was Hans Zimmer? Nah, Hans Zimmer copied this guy. Hans Zimmer actually hired him. Hans Zimmer went to Full Sail, and he's the one that made the movie. But that's super sick. And was it like a paid project, or were you just trying to?
Yeah, it was a paid project, but it challenged me. You know, that was the best part. I went to New York and everything for it. We recorded that in New York, Dumbo, Brooklyn.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Did you make live instruments?
Studio, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you like kind of conducted an orchestra in a sense?
No, we actually just put it together. I just played it on the piano, just using strings and stuff. Like I said, from a music background, and just played it. Because the score doesn't really have to be long. It's just like a loop. It's just real quick.
Like a theme.
Yeah. The only challenging part was like trying to get my mind of no percussions.
Well, I think you still use percussion.
Yeah, you can, but mostly if it's in film, most of the time they want like just ambience. Don't really. It depends on what type of film it is. Maybe we don't really use drums that much.
What kind of film was it?
It was like an independent. He was like a drama film type. Yeah, like real drama.
So you just had like a suspense string.
Not horror, but like I don't know. You ever seen a movie like 7 Grams?
The main theme in this podcast is that Rivers doesn't watch movies.
Oh,
that's gonna be
like.
So
I'm trying to give you a general idea.
You say you haven't seen Friday.
You haven't seen Friday. I haven't seen Tuesday. I'm
trying to give you a general. It's like if you ever seen that, kind of like that the music is kind of similar to that.
Okay. So I guess for other people watching, maybe they know it.
Yeah, I couldn't really describe it. But it's not horror. You were getting like horror string.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I always wanted to score a film.
Yeah, clusters, augmented chords.
That's so sick.
All horror fans, all men. Strange clustered together.
Yeah. So you have a musical background?
Kind of, sort of. I went to a school of performing arts, but I lost all that information after when I was a kid, because I was forced to do it. It was like part of the curriculum, it was by force.
Mm.
But of course, once I graduated, it was like, I learned the guitar. That was crazy. I learned to read and play the actual guitar, but I used to hate carrying that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Then once I didn't have to do that shit no more. And what happened is, you lose all that information, but...
Was it after the bullet hit you, the information just fell out?
No, it's way before that. Now the bullet part, the only thing that took is the hearing part.
Mm.
So, losing that hearing, starting with, 100% hearing to you. That changed some of the dynamics to it. But me and him, we had a band. Actually, I was doing beats first, and that's how we got to doing the band. I could play by ear.
That's
At
cool.
that point. Yeah, so I was playing by ear by that point. But originally I was through notes, reading, through the scale when I was younger. And then when I was doing the beats with them, when they called me to come to the band, like, you doing beats, you might as well just play in the band. That's when I started picking up more musical background. You would be musicians. So I remember one time, we had guys playing guitar. He was at a rehearsal. And he was like, he tried to tune his guitar. He was like, yeah, give me an A. I'm like, what is that? If I hear it, I know what it is. I felt bad, so I had to go back and research and learn all those things. So
Yeah.
Now you hit me I know these chords now because just from school. And from that moment, I was like, I gotta learn these things. And that was just a single note, which seems so simple. It's so simplistic at the time, but that's a true story.
You just said all the notes. You just figure out which one they wanted.
No, I knew if you gave me, hey, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was just like, hey, I'm looking at all these white keys. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
which one is that? Well,
Yeah. It is good to know some basic music theory.
Oh, yeah. Because it progresses at each level you got. So when I got in church, they started doing a number system. I was like, what the hell? Because in our bands, like your bass or something, or the guitar, like, all right, I'm playing major minors, I'm playing this bass note, that from music. Bass note normally generally leads all of your music. So that was, when I got into the church one, they was like, yeah, you want to go 2516? I'm like, 25.
Yeah. What's your phone number again?
Yeah. Which is very simplistic when you really figure it out. It's not nothing, it's just the lingo, really. It's really the notes.
Yeah.
They're just saying the notes, are just putting it in numbers.
That's it.
Yeah. So this one C F G, but they saying 251.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I had to learn that.
Yeah.
I got intimidated by it.
Yeah, I definitely was there too. What were you gonna say, Wayne?
No, I was gonna say, can you tell them about the dream you had when you was in when he got shot?
He having all those type of
For
musical dreams.
For real?
Yeah. That was crazy. I mean,
He got-
like musical artists.
What is it like?
Yeah,
Yeah, book? Reading Rainbow.
Nah.
No, when he got shot, he was in a coma. So when he was in a coma, he said he was having dreams, and he said he met in one dream he met Biggie and
Big. Master P.
Yeah, Biggie, Master P.
Yeah.
and he was just saying how vivid it seemed.
So would you like eat food with them? Like what were you guys
The
doing?
Biggie thing was crazy because he started rapping. So when I woke up and realized it was a dream, I was like, was that my lyrics?
Oh yeah.
I'm like, subconsciously it had to be me.
Yeah, you think?
I was like, it was surreal though, but some of it was just like the one I had with Master P. Don't ask me why these random dreams, but the one with Master P that was, we had had nothing to do with music. He was like, take me to some party, and it was like Patrick Ewing's party. He was in DC, and it was going to Patrick Ewing's party. It was like this mansion party. And then he had these strippers and shit. It was just a weird dream.
Yeah.
Actual Biggie, girl, he was like trying to don't ask me why. This is dreams make no sense.
Yeah.
So apparently in his dream he wanted to impress me.
Okay.
And the Grandmaster himself wanted to impress, please tell me these rhymes. And he was like, spitting, I'm impressed in my dream.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, shit. Which caused me to wake up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, shit, like, does anybody Does anybody here witness this? So when I wake up, I'm like, was that my subconscious rap?
Yeah.
And maybe I should pursue rap.
You're a dope lyricist. You're channeling Biggie and.
I always wondered that. Is it the dream? Was that really my subconscious lyrics?
Do you ever like just wake up and then you start writing some of the stuff down?
No, you know what's crazy? I don't remember dreams well. Like something like that I do. But some dreams I have that I wake up like, damn, where did it start at? Like the whole time I was asleep, I can give you it verbatim. But when I wake up, I was like, man, I had a dream, but it was crazy. We started like here. I couldn't get in much detail, so. You know.
I think dreams themselves are kind of crazy that we even have that. We just tap into a part of our imagination and it's like, they say that it's kind of like DMT that gets released when you're dreaming. It's like a type of high. It's like a connection to a whole nother place.
Deja vu, that's scary to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You do that a lot?
Like,
you do that a lot?
I'll be in places like, man, I've been here before. Like, what's about to happen?
Like you can sense it?
Yeah. Like I actually seen, like I'll be somewhere and I've seen it before. Like I've been there before.
And like the scene play out the same.
And the scene play out the same.
Maybe.
Yeah, they say it's some. They got theories for like some parallel universe type stuff.
The what?
They say it could be like a parallel universe, you in a parallel universe, somehow connecting with yourself or through some brains, or maybe you went to sleep or something and did it, and you kind of remember from your dream or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, yeah, they don't know. They truly don't know what it is, but it's just theories at this point.
You guys believe in like multiple dimensions and like parallel universes?
I do. I mean, I can't say for sure, yeah, it's true, but I think it's probably possible. And there's all this, was it CERN? I guess it's the CERN machine. They're doing all these experiments with atoms and stuff clashing and recreating the Big Bang. And they're finding that there's a bunch of parallel universes.
It's like, how do they even do that?
That's way over my head. That's way over my head. Yeah. And there's a thing in Europe, and it's a CERN. It's huge, like huge. It's a particle accelerator. Yeah. So they smashing them, and they found out what they found, black matter, I think, or dark matter, which was, they theorized about it for a long time, but now they actually show that it's real. So it's a lot of. You get deep into that side of YouTube, it's like a lot of wild stuff that's going on. Yeah. For real. Like you can look up all the stuff that the studies they're doing, the tests they're doing. Like they talk about all that stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's all happening like in Europe or something.
It's all in Europe.
Accelerating particles and trying to find the God particle.
Yeah, they found it.
They found it already.
They found it, supposedly.
Was it in his dream?
right. But yeah, they supposedly found it. I don't know what that means, but
that's I kind of think that's how like coincidences kind of happen, and like there are so many results that can occur from a situation. Like you're driving a car, you could go this way, this way, this way. This could happen. A bird could fly this way. But like all those are actually things that have already happened in a version of like a universe, and then you're living in just one of the outcomes that has happened. And then there's times that like I think that's where you can perceive like something like that could happen because it's already in your head, like played out, and it's like a connection that we have. That's a spiritual connection.
You're right. That's essentially what they kind of saying, how the parallel universes are. Like they say that like there's an infinite amount of versions of each of us, and there's a bunch of different universes where we're here doing the same thing, or I might be sitting there, like you know what I mean, just random variations.
This is actually your podcast,
right? Yeah. Like in a parallel universe, it's like that, right?
For free. What the heck?
So yeah, it's like all these random outcomes, you know, are possible or they've happened in, supposedly in other universes. So they're saying kind of like that's how the deja vu thing is. Like it might have happened to you in a parallel universe that's where it's very similar to this one, but just a little different. and like you said, maybe spiritually somehow you could connect and have that memory or something.
Do you guys think like aliens exist?
I think they probably real.
Yeah.
Area 51.
Do you really think that they're preventing us from knowing about these aliens, or do you think that like they're just so small, or they're like not even that scary that they're like we shouldn't even show people this?
Right.
So YouTube people, they decided to come back looking alright.
I'm telling you.
Which is crazy.
I saw a video of this guy.
For
Right.
YouTubers.
Oh, they have like a community.
No, I'm just saying, remember how it was a time period, I would say about 10 years ago, it was like a lot of mass like conspiracy theories. And I said, a lot of them.
Right,
like we were
look
laughing
on the
at it,
tree.
but it's like now you come to the times now, they kind of do what they were talking about.
I mean, based off like how some of the people in Chicago are walking, you'd think that aliens exist because the way that they're like walking towards you and like the way they lean, that's not humanly possible.
That's like that movie. What's the jump? The dude put the glasses on.
Which one?
The wrestler.
Action movies. That's Men in Black. That's Men in Black. That's
That's
it. Lowered it down to a few million.
Yeah.
80s movie with the wrestler.
The wrestler. Okay, now you
Rowdy. Was it Rowdy?
Right. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. What was that called? That was a good movie too.
Yeah, but it's somewhere he could, if you put the glasses on, you could see like reality. Yeah, like so you could see like these. I don't know if they're aliens or like demons or. But they look like, without the glasses, they look like a regular human, but you put them on and you can see the truth.
It's Men in Black, I think.
No, it's way before that.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
I can't think of the name.
It's,
Arius?
Rivals and the Squirrels too.
Yeah, that's all I know. The rest is Roddy Piper. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Sometimes I'll just like make up a title like a movie title and see it's just like go along with it.
Yeah,
Do you believe movies display real life?
I think the perception of real life is like it came from it can be inspired by true events, and it's inspired by someone's imagination.
Now that, like, do you think like movies are ahead of the time, like 5 years ahead? Like, do they predict something?
I think there's like concepts that we take from things that we think are futuristic and we implement them in our movies, and sometimes it actually ends up being that way because it was someone that had an idea that was that way, and then someone was like, oh, let me actually like piggyback off that, and then we're just all taking each other's ideas. So in a way I do think that we're like all contributing to what the future is going to be like in the like later on, but there's also some movies that are just like so left wing. Like, what the heck is like, that's just weird.
I was asking that 'cause I was watching a movie and they were doing the metaverse, but and I didn't know that when I rewatched this movie. I was like, damn, they was doing the metaverse. That's what it's about. It's about doing in the metaverse. But it's like they killing people. I forget the name of it, but I think Bruce Willis is in it.
Oh yeah, Surrogate.
Yeah, that's about the metaverse.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
But it's probably like what you just described. So it's like probably somebody was thinking about it and just later on just implement.
Yeah, possibly. Have you guys tried the metaverse or the Oculus?
Yeah, I have. I had the Oculus.
You guys watched porn on it?
I did it before. I watched porn on it before.
You have?
That shit crazy. Yeah. I had dog. I'm like a scientist researcher. I'm like I gotta see what this shit like.
Yeah. Let's see what this is all about.
That shit is wild. Like this VR period is wild.
Yeah. This guy's a scientist. This guy's really is.
Yeah, like that shit is wild. Just I think I let you use it one time. You could go on there just talking to people. Yeah. People just be walking up, like you enter like some kind of lobby area, and they have all these. This isn't the porn.
Oh, it's that interactive. It's like you literally are in the porn.
Not it. But they say they're working on. Well, some people actually have like haptic feedback suits. So you theoretically people would be they'll have the VR headset on, have the suit on. The next person, whoever they're communicating with, would have the same suit on, and so if they would be able to touch each other and
you could feel
physical contact. Yeah. And then they like in
That's-
China and Japan, they got the
Dude, how do you know that? I mean, that explains. So you won't even need to text that girl back. You just put on the suit. You just go to the metaverse, and you're already in the zone.
And then I think in Japan or China, one of them they had like the suits, the VR. You had the VR headset, and then they had some type of sex machine that'll go on you. So it was like it moved with it like move at the same speed or whatever you're watching. So it would like simulate what the person's watching.
See, I feel like
This shit's
technology
crazy.
just gets advanced based off of our personal needs.
It
You know,
does, yeah, for sure.
we're gonna get really good at creating sex machines, just because that's like as humans, we're like, oh, we want to feel what that feels like, so we're gonna get really good at, and then through that, we're actually gonna create like this AI version of like a wife or something, and then it's like now you're having arguments with your AI,
Right.
your AI wife.
Yeah,
Weird science.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Yes. I mean,
Little dog robots already.
yeah. They got
It's creepy.
all that shit's creepy. Like it's
It is.
weird, but
It's like it
with
almost-
Megan, like she's like, "Hey, I'm home."
it takes the human side out of it,
Yeah.
and it's like, how are we gonna evolve if we're just dumbing things down so much? We're not actually learning how to hunt or have a relationship. You know, we're just trying to create something that's gonna respond the way we want it to. It's like, okay, maybe we'll be happy in that temporarily, but like,
Right.
why are we developing as people? Are we becoming so crutched on technology and like where we're headed? That is just so. Like we're numbing everything. We're trying to avoid trauma and conflict, and it's like it really is this whole nother layer that the powers that be, the higher ups, whatever, are trying to just subdue us and like get us into this lower state of consciousness where we're just going with that easy feeling. It's like that numb, just eat like
Sheep.
yeah, sheep, and that's how you really control a group of people. Is you just start, you literally stimulate them. However, you know, you just give them candy, you give them, you know, whatever. It's like that instant gratification, and then it's like, what willpower are you really creating?
right.
And I think that's what we gotta get away from. We gotta get away from all that stimulation and the I don't play video games. I love video games. I can't play them because I know that's just gonna numb my mind. I'm gonna think that this is reality. This is what I can do with my time. There's so much way more productive things. I can have a conversation and get to know my surroundings a little bit. It's like
Right.
there's always something. Every day is a different day. You can learn something new. So it's like you gotta allow yourself to be that new person, new version of that. If you keep hiding in something else that's giving you an alternative reality, you start to forget who you are, and then you really are uncomfortable. So it's like you gotta find your path and kind of like forge your way through uncomfortable situations, and creating that it's almost like a reliance on your abilities rather than the abilities of what's around you.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's how you have true confidence.
yeah.
You can rely on your ability.
And it's almost like, you know how so like I was thinking about this because I was like, you know, a cat is her entire world. Candace's world is literally just in the same room for majority of her life. I moved 3 times, so she's had a different experience, but she doesn't like to move. But this is her reality. She knows I'm talking about it right now. And it's like, how does she keep things interesting? Do cats get depressed? Like, do animals like have those like type of feelings, or are they just like, this is just what life is, and I'm gonna find a different way to sit. Like, this is my new favorite position right now. Like like it's so interesting because you get to know your animal, and it's almost like, oh man, she's not reacting the same way to me or whatever. But it really is, you're not being present with your animal. She's always present with you. Like, animals are just so present beings.
Oh yeah.
It's really us that are reacting differently
Right,
to our
yeah,
environment based off of what like we're thinking, and like the presence is really the key in a sense.
Sure.
Yeah, but growing up, his dog was like the most the most human acting dog ever.
Really?
Yeah, Spanky.
His name is Spanky. What?
Yeah, little poodle mixed with Schnauzer. Yeah, man. It's a trip.
Yeah, like everybody knew Spanky.
What? Why was his name Spanky?
Because he was bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he earned that name.
Yeah.
I had people coming to my house saying, "Your dog got my dog pregnant." Like,
Oh my gosh.
what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Put you on child support? Like,
Yeah. How much shots more do you have? Like, that's another notch on Spanky.
Yeah, he got a lot
Poor
of those dogs
Spanky.
pregnant.
You just wanted the hanky. That's all you wanted. You didn't want.
he was a rolling stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
He'd be gone for days. Like you didn't have to worry. You already knew he coming back. He knew where he knew how to get back
3
home.
days later.
Wow.
One time going in the Safeway.
Yeah.
He got on my school bus with me.
He's got. He had a college education before you did. Spanky's a billionaire. Spanky. I didn't mean it, Spanky. Please, Spanky.
Yeah, that was good.
Give me a
days,
ball,
man.
Spanky. I'll do whatever. Yeah, but wouldn't that be crazy though? If raccoons, they have thumbs.
Yeah.
Like they could literally do what we do at a certain point. Like there's nothing. Our DNA is so similar to raccoons.
Mhm. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really what's separating us from a lot of animals.
Yeah.
Is just the thumb.
Yeah.
But like monkeys are gonna. I actually think I know some monkeys. Like I'm probably friends with some monkeys.
Right.
But,
Right.
but like they're gonna advance to a certain point. Like it's crazy because we're all evolving. And so, the same way that if you believe that we came from monkeys or, Neanderthals or whatever, like, how we've evolved, the animals that are still around us are evolving too. So they're reacting, they're learning how to live with us in a sense. So, like, they're probably, like, looking at the news, looking at your, like, the window and seeing what's happening in the news because they're like, all right, is my environment going to still be around for a little longer? Like,
See all the bears running around now.
yeah.
Finding a bear every other week.
Right. That's crazy.
You seen a bear in Bethesda? I mean, besides the bear we have right here.
No, they've been seeing them on the news. I haven't seen one personally, no, but they've been spotting them on the news.
Really?
In D.C., Maryland, Virginia, like the whole DMV, that y'all making a tour.
I've been away from that.
Yeah, that was like what, last month?
Yeah, so Wayne 2. Wayne 2 is about a bounce, but I wanted to just give him his shout out. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Wavy Brain 21.
Oh, use your mic so we can hear you.
Sorry. Wavy Wayne 21. IG, Instagram. You can find me.
Boom. And what are you like working on in a sense that people can be like looking forward to?
Now I actually I don't have no upcoming projects right now at the moment.
Okay. That's what's up. That's actually great. But yeah, man, I appreciate you being on. Really enjoyed vibing, meeting you, and hearing about your story, especially with the whole gun thing. I think that's just a unique story to have in general. So really appreciate you coming out and talking about and just being vulnerable. So
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely,
I
man.
appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Thank you
for sure, man.
Thank you.
All right, man. Yep. Perfect. And we can keep going if you guys are still down. All right, sweet. All right. So there's a bear infestation that people need to know about.
Yeah, other than myself, man.
Yeah.
No one's.
So yeah, you're the realest one. So so you're like the representative of the bear community. Yeah. So where did where did that name come from?
My family gave me that name.
Attachment.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think the bear community needs nowadays?
They need some woods. Apparently, they don't
Yeah.
know where to go, man. They wandering around DC.
Do you think it's because people are just so comfortable with these animals that the animals are becoming comfortable with us?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Mm.
I've gotten a lot closer to some deers lately.
Yeah.
They walking a little closer than you.
Yeah, it's like almost concerning. It's like yeah. You see that one video of the guy he was about to shoot a deer, and the deer goes over, and then he just starts walking towards the guy with the gun, and puts his head right up to the gun, and you could just tell the deer was like, "You're not that guy. You're not gonna do this." Yeah. And then he even pet the deer, and then the deer ran off. Like, that's the most boss thing you can do as a deer.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's crazy though.
Yeah.
But I had a joke with him for like years, cause animals always want to mess with him. So I was always say like they gonna like Dr. Dolittle movie. I'm like they gonna start talking one day. Like they gonna just evolve one day. Gonna start talking. They gonna be fucking with him.
Have you seen that there are ways to communicate with your animals? Like back in, I don't even know, 2008 when I was like in high school, they had this collar that would be attached to a dog, and you can almost communicate with the dog. They had like a corgi, and it was like a Japanese translator.
Wow.
I think most of the time it just said, "I'm hungry."
Right.
I don't know how in depth the conversation could really get. Like, what? Right.
Spanky would have said more than that.
Yeah, for sure. I wish Spanky could talk.
Man, he could talk.
Yeah. So why'd you get a poodle? That's an interesting.
My father, man, my cousins were actually about to stick a pit bull on him. My father found him around South Beach, around my cousin's neighborhood. And they were about to stick a pit bull on him, and he stopped.
You saved him
and brought him home to us. Yeah.
Wow.
Dang, that's crazy. I never even knew that. That's crazy.
Yeah. And so is he still around or?
No,
Oh,
yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah.
I killed him after the fourth child support.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
He lived a long life, but yeah, he been dead for a while.
Did you have to like have any sort of hip replacement or anything like that? Because there was a dog I was helping walk yesterday, and I was like, this dog needs to be put down. Like, this dog can't even go to the bathroom. It's like he can't even stand up. You gotta pick the dog up.
Oh,
There's a certain point. There's a quality of life you can't.
No, he went out like how he lived. He was an escape artist. He wasn't a dog that's gonna stay in the fence. You can have a fence. You can have him in the house. He's gonna find his way out.
He escaped life.
Yeah, he got out. He was older, and he wound up getting hit by a car.
Sheesh.
But he wasn't like walking around miserable.
Yeah, that's great. In a way.
Yeah, from time we were kids until we were adults when he died.
Wow. Yeah, that's kind of cool to like grow with a pet. And I feel like maybe even when I start making a family, like I have a few kids and everything, like it could be cool to have a dog, but I'm not sure because the responsibility. I love having a cat who's just so easy
cats
going.
are more chill. Like.
I could travel wherever I want, and she's not needy or whatever. But like a dog, and you gotta. I guess the kids can really raise the dog, because they're like raising each other in a sense, which is cool. But
yeah, give them some responsibility.
Yeah.
Especially a dog, you always gotta walk it. Like
right.
You always gotta have that in mind. Like
yeah. You guys like to travel? You guys like to travel at all? Yeah. Where was like the coolest place you traveled?
Probably Cabo.
Cabo?
Yeah.
Well, did you do it like the resort way where you have like all-inclusive type of situation, or was it like more of a in the trenches trying to see what Cabo's really about?
No, it was a group. It was a group of us, and we had an Airbnb at nice house.
That's fun.
I wish I had the pictures of me, and that house was
It's like a mansion.
Yeah.
That sounds so much fun.
Yeah, the coolest place. I don't know. I probably like Jamaica the most. I went to Cancun when I was like real young, probably like 5. But that always stood out to me because just the nightlife party atmosphere, like I was just witnessing as a kid. Which I loved it, so I probably should have known I was gonna like love nightlife when I got older. But yeah,
Cancun.
Cancun was cool, and Jamaica.
Yeah.
I love both of those places.
So last time I went to Cancun was like a few years ago, and I was like scrolling through Tinder, and I was like, well, let me find something, like let me meet up with someone that night, and it's still Mexico,
Right.
and,
Yeah.
and I wasn't staying near the resorts or anything. So what I did, because I kind of when I travel, I plan the escape route. I plan everything. I'm like, all right, how am I gonna get there? And if that doesn't work, how am I gonna get back? Like if the I can't get on a bus or I don't like I get robbed or whatever.
Yeah.
So what I did was I was staying just a little bit out of where the resort area is, and so I plotted my route there, and it's like a 40-minute bus ride there, and so I saw how long it takes for me to run back from the resort area to my place and how many turns it would be. So I'm like counting the blocks, and so it would be about like a 3-hour run. If I needed to, I would in order to get back home.
Right.
If they robbed my phone, I didn't have my phone because I didn't want to bring it. I mean, you bring $1,000 phone and take it. I was like, I'm not gonna risk that. So I'm doing everything based off of what I'm planning, and I don't even bring my passport. I'm just like,
Yeah.
they're gonna steal it. Like that's so. Yeah, so I got on the bus, paid like the 1 peso to go all the way to the end, and then I just kind of figured out. I just have to remember. All right, it was 84 stops, 84 blocks that I would be running, and I'm gonna have to count every single one of them when I'm gonna get there eventually. But luckily, I didn't have to, and I just spent the night on the beach, which was really fun.
Oh yeah, that sounds dope.
But yeah, I mean, it just depending on where you go, like especially Jamaica, I hear like it isn't all just fun and games in Jamaica.
Yeah, well, we were on the in a resort all inclusive jump. So that was pretty cool. We did leave for a little bit, went to one club. Was it like Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville? He has like a lot of those around the world, I guess. So we went to the club there, and that was pretty fun.
Oh yeah,
It was in Gogo band.
you hear that? Yeah, we talking about that.
Right.
You better Gogo band. Oh yeah, for sure. For some a long time, man.
Oh really? What instrument did you play?
I played drums, conga.
So you were the one that was inciting violence on the dance floor. You started playing it more aggressively. I like that.
I got introduced you to one.
Oh, that was mine.
I don't know if he works at Cafe Citron, but he always be up there. But he always post up there. He be one playing himself.
Oh,
Right.
Cafe Citron. Are you the one playing the drum, like congos?
You never know. But I does it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they just have drums out. You can just play them. Like I enjoy that about it. Oh, so what was it like? So you were a touring artist?
No, I wasn't a touring artist. Local bands. I played in.
I don't know if you want to talk about. I know you said you had something about Gogo coming up.
So yeah,
they was in Gogo band.
Let me hear that. The Gogo culture, the backyard.
You've been in Gogo band.
Junkyard area. What was that like?
Long time.
To me.
Oh really? What
I would
instrument
say
did you
late
play?
90s, early 2000s was the best era to me.
So you were the one that was inciting violence on the dance floor.
I wasn't around.
You started playing it more aggressively. I like that.
I got introduced you to one of my boys that I don't know if he works at Cafe Citron, but he always be up there. But he always posting videos. He be one playing them jumps in the club. So y'all might have to have a little battle or something.
Cafe Citron. Are you either one playing the drum, like congos?
Nah, it's somebody I know that does it.
Yeah, they just have drums out. You can just play them. Like I enjoy that about it.
Yeah.
Oh, so what was it like? So you were a touring artist?
It's nice to see the evolution, but to me, the best part was the 90s.
About when it was slower? So yeah, Wayne was talking a lot about the go-go culture, the backyard, the Robotown junkyard area. What was that like?
Outside the backyard, some Sandal songs they could been timed to the stuff like immediately. And the clubs were better back then. Oh yeah.
What made them better?
Just the atmosphere. If you ain't leave the go-go, Dread.
Really? Where
Yeah.
like it's starting out.
Everyone was dancing.
I like that
Dretch
Gogo.
when you
Early on, it was
Wow.
ears ringing,
Really?
the numbers in your pockets.
Mm. Yeah.
Had some good time. And we kind of, like you saw about Bounce Beat, I think I was telling before that we saw the evolution of it. Yeah, we used to go see TCB when they was out in backyard, and people wanted to party with TCB back then. All the girls were,
Nice to see that.
like all the girls were, but dudes weren't popping with them yet. And then if they started hitting that beat, they was that
Now, when it was slower or faster?
Taking over.
slower and more
Now that's
more
what
conga.
it is now.
Yeah.
So Beat Your
The
Feet was the
Robotons.
dance that
Oh yeah, I was telling them about the time.
You were
Yeah.
the originator?
I was telling them backyard some of them songs they hit them times, people start fighting immediately.
And the original TCP.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
What made
Nice.
them better?
That's sick. So did you ever get like special treatment for just saying that?
Nah.
No.
Drenched.
Really?
Yeah.
I ain't really.
Everyone was dancing.
Everybody.
Oh, really? Like they were good, but they weren't as.
Wow.
Like jump y'all.
Yeah.
Really?
No people.
Yeah.
Had some good times. And we kind of, like you was talking about Bounce Beat, I think I was telling them before that we saw the evolution of it because we used to go see TCB when they opened up her backyard, and people weren't even partying with TCB back then. All the girls were,
Fan base was
like all the girls were, but dudes weren't partying with them yet.
members of the band.
And then they started hit that beat. They was that song "Beat Your Feet."
I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, we briefly discussed this on our episode, but like, why do you think?
So Beat Your Feet was the
fizzled
dance that you
out in this
that
Yeah.
you were mentioning, but you were the originator?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was telling them like Desmond, the way Desmond used to dance.
That is a large part of it, and then they
Oh,
don't have,
really?
like we had all age.
That's sick. So did you ever get like special treatment for just saying that?
12,
No.
14, 15 years old. It was all on if your mother or father was gonna let you go.
Oh, really?
So
Like, they were good,
able
but they
to
weren't
see
as-
bands
That-
at a young age versus these kids now where they can't see bands until they're grown. And by the time they're grown, they're
Yeah,
going to
the
regular
bounce beat
clubs,
style
they're trying to rap.
was like
They're not thinking
the
about
generation
it.
right under us, below, like so they were younger than us. So
Mm-hmm.
our generation,
Their bands
Right.
go to your school.
the fan base.
You can go to clubs. You can go to the Ice Box. You can go to the Black Hole. You can go to the Mercedes Club. The Hot Shops.
Right.
Mad
So
Chef
yeah, I
Cafe,
mean, we briefly discussed this on our episode, but like, why do you think Gogo fizzled out in a
like,
sense?
hell, we had to be in the middle of the Gogo, the band will shut down because somebody, mother or father.
Oh, really?
They'll call you out like, hey,
They don't have like.
And Spanky was right there with them.
yeah, but it was like that. They don't have that now.
I thought maybe it was because they ran out of laundry detergent. And they, from cleaning all their clothes and being so drenched. It's like-
But it's definitely it's not the same. The niggas, you know, certain bands still holding their own, doing their thing, but it's not the same to me.
Yeah, I just kind of like the times they change. So
And when we were younger, that seemed unthinkable. Like,
Right.
for Gogo not to be the main music head, like, if you'd have told me that would be the case, I'd have like, yo, I ain't like, right, possible. It would be like that.
yeah,
It happened.
it's kind of like, but I feel like it's gonna be maybe. Do you think it's gonna come back in a way?
I think it can, but it's going to take the younger people to get back into it. Like I said, they cut it off because it did bring a lot of violence. Like a lot of those clubs got shut down because of our generation. That's all.
That's another major point. A lot of the Go-Go clubs, especially in DC, there's not that many Go-Go's in DC anymore, right? Because the clubs got shut down. Like you said, because our generation, people, so much violence. So that has to be play part in.
And it's not, a lot of people like to blame the bands. It's not the bands. Most of the drama is, guys that got drama, neighborhoods that's already beefing, and this is just a place where everybody goes and the
Yeah.
shits. it happens.
Yeah.
And Gogo takes the blame for it.
Gogo, the band will shut down.
Oh, really?
He'll call you out.
And that started before. That was back in the 80s.
And Spanky was right there with them.
It was like that.
I don't want to say
They don't
propaganda.
have that now.
That type of
I
message.
thought maybe it was because they ran out of laundry
Violence
detergent.
and Gogo.
From cleaning all their.
But
yeah, anything you guys want to talk about, or like you want to cover, or anything like that?
Cool.
It is cool. So you, what was your when you were like, all right, I'm going to do this podcast with Wayne? Like, what did you? How did you think it was going to go?
I honestly didn't know, man, because I don't really like to talk. I'm a people person, but I'm not a people person. It doesn't make sense. So I really didn't know, you know.
So like you were like, all right, a podcast. I've never done this before, but you know what? Let's just see how it goes. Like that's it takes guts too, because especially on a platform you don't even know.
Right.
Like, I'm really hoping this guy has it together. This could be like crash, you know,
Right. But yeah, it's
situation.
But that's what's about putting yourself in such like I'm the same way. I don't really like to talk. I don't like the spotlight. I'm a photographer, so I tell people I prefer to be behind the camera rather than in front of it.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to step like you were saying earlier, step outside your comfort zone to grow.
For sure.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what it's all about. And like I said, we think about starting a podcast too. So
So what would that podcast be about?
man, we could do about yeah, like it could be anything. We could do sports, yeah, all that.
Everyday issues, you know.
The day in the life of Spanky. Everything he's going through.
Yeah, that we have to have.
Last
Spanky
Tuesday
out.
with Spanky.
Yeah, Spanky's the goat.
That could be interesting. You know, Spanky's gonna go down in history. That's the poodle.
Yeah,
Got the hanky.
you're right. Like for real, he got probably almost every female dog in that neighborhood. He got pregnant at one point in time. I'm not even lying.
And still paying it off.
Like for real.
Yeah, I think we could all take something from Spanky. You know,
Yeah, go for what you want.
yeah. No remorse. No rubber. I don't condone that.
But yeah, our podcast, like we also real big into sports, so I'll be thinking sometimes that we need to have like two separate ones. Cause we're both big Redskins / Commanders fans. Like huge fans, been that way shit based our whole life. So
What do you think about it changing? Like the name of it changing like that? Because you still call it Redskins, but it's
yeah, to me they're still the Redskins. I mean that's a whole that they go kind of deep, but I think it was a PC thing, and I think a lot of people hated Dan Snyder, so they were a lot of kind of ways just to punish him. He was so adamant, like, oh, we'll never change the name. So one way to get at him is like, oh, we're gonna force you to change the name, and it came from sponsors pulling out. So it was a money thing. So and there are a few Native Americans that were offended by the name. So of course I agree with them. You know, it's up to them to say. But there's also a lot of Native Americans that weren't offended, and a lot of schools and Native American schools and stuff, they still use the name Redskins. There's groups of Native Americans that still want the name to be Redskins. So my thing is, it's not for us to decide if the name should change. It should be up to Native Americans. And when it comes, I did some research a long time ago, probably like 10 years ago. And over the time, I done that research again just to be sure. But I forget his name, but it's a senior linguist at the Smithsonian Museum in D.C. He actually went back and did the history on who created the word Redskins, because the reason for it being offensive was because they say it's a racist word. And he found that natives actually created the word themselves to refer themselves as Redskins, to differentiate themselves from white people. So they call them white skins and them Redskins. So it was like that for maybe 100, 200 years or something. And then for a period of like 40, 50 years, white people took it and turned it into a derogatory statement, like skinning, catching them and skinning the skulls and all that. So it was derogatory for a period of time, but then after that, natives took it back, and it wasn't derogatory again. So, but nobody really knows this history. It's not really that published, put out there. But for the majority of the time, that name was used in a positive way by them. So it's kind of like you're saying, since white people said it's a bad word for this amount of time, that overrides what natives would really made the word, you know what I mean, how they really truly meant the word. You're saying, so you're kind of saying that the way white people say it or feel about it is more important than how natives feel about it. If you really want to look at it like that, but like I said, that conversation gets kind of deep. But so I wish it was still the same name. It sucks. I like seeing the logo. Kind of someone that's like us, you know what I mean?
And they don't know the real fans are gonna call it the same thing.
Yeah.
They need to.
Very much. Yeah, we go at the least we want to say the skins.
Yeah, the skin. That's what we call them.
Yeah.
Real Washingtonians that are fans of the team.
Yeah. I feel like you have to say the word Washingtonian with like a British accent. Washingtonian.
Right. The original ones probably did have that British accent.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. We're like a lot of where we came from in American culture is like from Britain.
Yeah, we like I guess, little brothers, I guess. Because I mean, we came from them. I mean, you could say we overtook them as a world leader and all that, but we derived from, we came from them. So
yeah, it's like we have all these traditions, but we kind of rebelled against the Britain way of living. So I wonder if that's why we have some certain laws that are very different. Just based off of like, no, we're not going to do it how they did it. We're just going to do it our own way. And maybe it's not the right way, but it's just because we're just being rebellious, and it's like we're basing everything off of just one moment in time. And now we've changed so much since then. It's like, does that still apply? Like,
exactly.
we still.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we could use an update on certain things. I mean, it's been a long time, and in reality, the world has changed over those 200-something years. How long this country's been in existence?
It's not that long. 200.
Yeah, it's not long at all.
Did you say how long this country's been in business?
No, in existence.
That's
same
that
thing.
makes sense, like that.
Yeah, same thing. Business too.
Yeah, it is. Even like the idea of like being patriotic is like to control people and everything. I mean,
propaganda.
In a way, even the like. I mean, I think that it's honorable to volunteer in the army and be doing something that I wouldn't necessarily want to do, and like defending our country in a sense. That's how they paint it. But like, I have my own views when it comes to like military and how they manipulate them and like brainwash them. But like, they do like so much for us, but it's like they try to brainwash us to thinking like, oh, military is one of the most honorable things you can do, instead of like actually think for yourself and like be like an entrepreneur, or like try to change communities and stuff like that. So like, not to take anything away from service members at all. Like I respect them.
Right. Yeah.
A lot,
You have, like you say, you have to respect what the danger they put themselves into and the stuff they doing, like you said, for our freedoms. But like you said, you can also have a problem with the military complex, industrial complex overall, you know what I mean? Aside from the individuals who are in the military, just the system that operates as a whole that's an issue. But, I mean, but that's how our country runs. That's how we have control, like, and power, and our standing in the world is from our military. So
is that kind of scary?
yeah, like if people around the country don't agree with us, they gonna take them out.
And then now with drones and like they're gonna start now I'd be able to kill people remotely. And they already can, but like,
oh yeah, they've been doing that. That's I remember, was it like WikiLeaks back in the day? It was some pretty video that was went viral. It was famous, and they were showing they were shooting, I guess, innocent people, end up killing innocent people. But yeah, that's how they do it, from a drone, just kind of like a video game. And this was like 10 years ago, so now we're getting to a point where they're really gonna have like those Boston Dynamics robots out there fighting and all that crazy shit.
But yeah, I saw that video. You seen the Ukraine the two Russians that were under in that bunker, and the drone was dropping grenades into the bunker to try to kill them. It was like 32 hours of them like
Wow.
hanging over them, just seeing like them coming back, refueling, and then they would still be there.
Yeah.
It's.
I mean, I remember Obama. There was some controversy with Obama because he did a lot of drone attacks, and they were saying the percentage was like something crazy. Like the percentage of times that it didn't work was like 75%, 80% that it didn't work, and innocent people were getting killed. So I remember that was a big thing. Like ethically, like should they be allowed to do it if its success rate isn't that good? So the whole thing's crazy.
Allowed to do it if it's not successful.
I mean, morally, I would say no. If there's 80% chance I'm gonna kill somebody innocent, I don't think
yeah.
you know what I mean. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, if it's somebody that's really a threat to us, and it's like, look, we gotta take this chance because some innocent people might get killed, but this is an opportunity to get this person. If they're truly a threat, then I can understand that too. So it's kind of tough. I guess it'll come down to individual basis, like how serious is this person we're trying to get? What's the situation? Like I heard they were a few years ago, it was like they bombed like a wedding or something to get somebody high up in the Taliban, but and other people end up getting killed. So it's like, is it right? Do we live our daily life? We want to keep our daily, our ways of life in America. We want to stay comfortable. So is it necessary? Like that's a question we don't really have the information to answer those questions. Honestly, the government, the military has that information.
Yeah, I saw this one video. I guess it's just because they were highlighting a lot of the war in Ukraine with Russia. There was a drone that saw a Russian soldier, and the Russian soldier was just like, please don't kill me, please don't. And it literally, the drone guy operator didn't kill him, and he directed him.
I saw that
all the way to where they wanted him to go, which was really interesting because there's like a side of compassion, but like how do you have that by looking at a drone? You can't see the eyes on the other end, and I think that's also part of the natural way of dealing with conflict is being able to like confront that person's energy in their soul. Like if you're gonna really take it out, like that should be like a really conscious thing. It shouldn't just be like me looking at a camera and then just dying from someone pressing a button because they just are ordered to do that.
It's funny you say that. I was on YouTube watching like just old videos of people like from way back in the day doing interviews. So they interviewed somebody from one of the wars, and they asked him about killing people. And he was saying it was a lot easier when they were just shooting people from a distance. But he was like, this time that I think you might say the first time he had killed somebody, or the first time he had killed somebody personal, like with his knife. And he was like, it's just a lot different when you're looking into their eyes and you see they're just a human like I am, and I don't even have a problem with this person for real. He's like, we could be friends in real life if outside of these circumstances. But it's like he's on his team, I'm on my team, and I had to kill him, and like to see his life go away from his eyes, he was like, that haunted him. He's like, he had a problem with that. And he's like, ever since then he didn't really agree with the war or the killing. But he was like saying like she's saying, outside of humanity, from a distance, like if he has a rifle or something, he was like, it's very easy to kill because you're not making that connection. But to see that person very close, it's like you saying, like, oh, that's a real human there, So it's interesting you say that because that's kind of exactly what he was saying.
Well, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I would agree. I definitely would agree with that. My father was in Vietnam, actually, so yeah, I would definitely agree.
Did he ever talk about that?
Yeah, he'll talk about it. He's not one of those ones that, won't talk about it. He'll talk about it, to me. And if you ask him certain things, he'll definitely talk about it. But he was over there during the worst time, during the Tet Offenses in '68. and yeah, he's been through a lot and seen a lot. He got a photo book. He snuck back. I was, I don't know.
Anything?
No, not like there's some wild stuff in there, but nothing like too exciting.
What do you remember? Is your dad still around?
Yeah, he still do.
Oh, that's what's up. What kind of things did he talk to you about when it came to Vietnam?
He talked to me about a lot of stuff, you know, ways to stay alive, different terminology.
Like what to dive into it, like details wise, like.
He saved some people. One time they were taking a bath in the river, and he said he would never stand in groups. He would always kind of stand off by himself, even when they were in a group. So it may have been like 4 or 5 guys in the river taking a bath, and he was off in the cut. And he said he started seeing rounds hitting the water at the guys, and they didn't even realize they were being shot at.
Wow.
A sniper or something shooting at them. So he saw the direction where the rounds were coming. He said, I just opened up in that direction. And when they heard him open up, they realized, oh, we being shot at. They were able to get out. He got a medal.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's super cool. So did he partake in any of the tongue necklaces and
No, I don't think he was in that deep.
the body jewelry?
No. But he had some pictures of some bodies, like, for sure.
Yeah. That's even the whole Vietnam War. I hear is a war that we didn't even need to get into,
Right.
Yeah.
and then we just stayed there for too long.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like we were saying, government agendas, you know.
yeah,
They're going to do what they see fit.
yeah.
And it's the people, it's regular people that have to kind of suffer the consequences of it.
And it's almost like looking back, it's easier to say, oh, no, we should have said something or done something. And I know there's a lot of protests and stuff like that at the time, but like, how do we know that the interest of the government is not being, like the interest of the people is not being overlooked by the government's ego and wanting to flaunt power? Or it's like, how do we actually know that that's not happening? It is happening now, but like,
especially during that war, because during that time, black didn't even really have rights in America. So they're over there fighting a war. And he was over there when Martin Luther King got assassinated. So it's like, we're over here fighting this war, and we don't even have freedom.
yeah,
You know?
wow,
And he was telling me, like, that's how a lot of the racism stopped when they came back, because now you got blacks that know how to use guns, know how to use explosives. And then a lot of the white guys like, man, we not with this. These dudes are over here in the trenches taking bullets.
yeah.
Like what y'all talking about.
They brought them closer.
Yeah, that brought a lot of blacks and whites closer. So that war definitely.
Yeah, I wonder if like there's other wars that are like, because now whites are almost like the or Caucasians, whatever you want to call them, are like the minority in a sense. Like there's actually way more Latinas and Latinos, yeah, and it's like also like a lot of Asians, and if you really think about it, like majority of the world is Asian. You know, like so we're actually the cultural range that we have is very. It's not even on par with the majority of the world.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a fact.
It's like we need to catch up in a sense. We need to like kind of figure out what they know. Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot we need to do in this country. So I just think as a people, we just gotta come together, have conversations about what we feel is right, what we feel we deserve, and then hold government and politicians accountable. I think it's the main thing we gotta do. Like, because a lot of people, like I was telling you the other day, with inflation and everything, I just don't think the average everyday person should be struggling the way that they are.
Yeah, you
Like the prices and stuff has gone up so much, but the wages have stayed practically the same for a number of years.
Mhm.
So it's just like it's not right. Like if you could give some relief to people, I think you should. I mean, it's life. Like it shouldn't have to be that much of a struggle just because people are greedy.
Right.
That's my thing. If it's a struggle like that, because that's just the way the world is and our economy is, and fine, so be it. But these people are just being greedy. You know what I mean? Putting profits over people. So that's what my problem be. Like we could try to hold these people accountable.
It's like, how do we do that? It's like you would need to like not buy certain things, or
I mean, some certain type of strikes and stuff. But we need to mobilize and first get on the same page. You know what I mean?
just stare into that camera and say, "Revolution!" Mobilize, get your
Right.
ace, whatever they call it.
But that's real though, because I mean humanity has to get better. Because let's just say, a catastrophe happens, right? Everything goes black, Big Britain.
Yeah, solar flare.
Yeah. Us as human beings, like, should have some type of plan, but we're so hateful towards one another where we have nothing planned. What if there really are aliens in there?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
What's
we're
the
too
plan?
busy.
We're
Yeah.
too busy shooting and killing and fighting with each other. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
For dumb reasons.
For dumb reasons.
I saw this thing where if aliens did exist, actually Elon Musk said this. It's funny. He said that it would be the biggest way to get funding for national security.
Yeah.
They would just say, "Look, we have this big alien here.
Mhm.
We need to defend ourselves from this."
One of those, one of the presidents, I don't know if it was Reagan, or one of them, it was like the alien invasion would be the best thing for humanity because it would force humanity to come together.
But I wait till it,
Right.
Yeah,
till
it
it
gets to
happens.
that point.
Right.
Mm.
My father said, like, you prepare for war in times of peace.
Right.
You
Yeah.
don't wait till it's time to go to war to prepare for war.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, and I live by that.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I agree with that. Do you do martial arts?
No.
No, because that would be one way to do it too. That's how I navigated.
Yeah, yeah.
So like from like when I was 18, very uncomfortable with even having a social interaction, but like creating that feeling of like, oh, if anything, what's the worst that could happen in this interaction? I should be able to figure out how to deal with it. So the more you learn how to do that, then you start to, find out what interactions you thrive in and what to avoid and that kind of thing. So it's like that preparation.
Yeah, that's what it is. That preparation to anything that you're doing.
Mm-hmm. So how do you prepare?
I just try to be ready. Like when he told me about this,
Mm-hmm.
my first thing was like, okay, what are the topics?
Mm-hmm.
I like to do research and try to be ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Because I'm not just a natural talker. I'm not
Yeah.
one that can really just freestyle. So I'm always trying to, like I said, whatever I can do to be ahead and whatever I'm doing, even if it's a paint job,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, I'm going to be ahead of it. If I tell you I'm going to have it done this day,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and be
Ahead of when I told you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna have it done.
Yeah, that's
it
good.
means working late, getting there early,
Mm-hmm.
whatever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of it is kind of funny that I don't like to prepare that much when it comes to podcasts like this, because it could just go in so many different directions that I just want to see what you guys are willing to talk about. So like there's certain things I'm like, all right, he's a gun victim, a victim of gun violence. Like there's some certain things that I know that we can go to, but it really is just a freestyle, of just like vibing out, and I like it that way because I don't even like without even knowing you like that well. I know Wayne you know, we're getting to know each other more and more, but like not knowing you at all, from being like, okay, so we gotta do the fun shit, we're not really talking, we're not really like connecting anything, and then boom, conversation, deep
Right.
conversations. It's like
Right,
there's
right.
like something cool that comes with it. It's like we're really getting to know each other right off that's our first impression of each other in a sense, and it's like our reactions are gonna be so real, and that's what I like is that realness, not just like the formalities of when you're doing something, you know. Like I like to it's just for it to be the realest experience. So like not preparing is the way sometimes for me to do that.
Ain't nothing wrong with
Yeah, and
Yeah, it definitely comes out good on the podcast. Like I like the flow of it, I like the vibe of it.
yeah,
And like I definitely think your podcast will get big. Just stay consistent
So
with
I
it.
told him I like it. You got a professional look, good sound, nice thing going on over
Thank
here,
you.
man.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and I want to just start booking all kinds of interesting guests and people. I've got a club promoter slash manager that I'm gonna hopefully interview next week. Got a math teacher who is who writes books. I'm trying to see what I can do with that. There's certain like perspectives I like that people. It's like you can't take for granted the situations that we're in, and like the people we have around us. I have just so many different ways that they live and everything. So who's watching this could be, you know, someone in way worse situation, and like them getting to know what makes our lives, and like how they could try to imitate, or you know, like how they're like, okay, this is how I can be like that person, or like they lived this way and I learned that's what they did, so let me try to do something similar, or like see if it works for me. It's like by creating that conversation, you're also creating like interest in other people, curiosity, and
Oh yeah.
and it's like we all have something different to offer. There's just like something that deep down in us that there's like an expression, a way of life that when you tap into, it's just like this beautiful, authentic source that it doesn't matter who you are. It's like you are you,
Right,
and
right.
and through that, people are getting to know, and it's like that's beautiful. So
Yeah.
it's like it doesn't matter what you do for a job or anything, like it's just your experience, and we're just sharing our experiences in the best way we can.
Right.
So that's what I just want to dive into, like cooler and cooler experiences, and just just connecting with people.
And that's part of the reason why we feel like we need to start podcasts, because we just feel like we got something to say and help, you know, have these conversations, put them out there, like you said, to help people. And he's very much like me. Like people will come up, like you see how I'll be out there chilling. People, so many people just come up to me to start talking to me. It's like same way with him. And like he was saying, like we just have, like they say in the Bible, had a favor over us. So it's like if you had a light, you have to use it. You know what I mean? You have to let it shine, even though I don't want to be in the spotlight. I don't want to do it, but
I want to.
Yeah, it's not up to you.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then it makes me think about a quote I saw from Method Man one time. He was doing an interview on the Breakfast Club, and he was like, in real life, he's just chill and just, I think it was Method Man or Chappelle, one of them. But he was like, he's chill. And, oh no, this was Chappelle,
Yeah.
my bad, this is Chappelle. He said he's really just chill, like a sheep. Like, he don't want to be in the spotlight, he don't want the cameras on him. But he's like, in order to live that life as a sheep, sometimes he has to be a wolf. So that's like, that's always stuck with me. Like, sometimes you got to do what you got to do for a period of time to go back to living that life how you really want to live it. So it's like, sometimes you got to be a wolf to be a sheep. And I was like, yeah, that's very true. That's real.
Yeah, and I think we all do have this kind of this voice in us that when we don't feel like something is right, or we want to change something in our circumstances or even other circumstances, we almost, it's like even if we don't act on it, it's gonna start to echo in your head, and it's gonna fill you up in a sense. You're just gonna be like, man, I gotta like do something about this. And it's like that's what action is like. Not everyone's gonna take action, but everyone does have that voice, and it's those that decide to listen to that voice and try to make something happen, create change, is that's when you can allow other thoughts to enter. It's like you have to give yourself enough room. If you're flooding if you're not letting the free flowingness of your thoughts, you're always going to be stuck in the past of what's going on, and you're never going to actually think about how you can change your circumstances and grow to something bigger and better. So it's like by doing that action that you should in the back of your head, you're allowing yourself more room to grow to something else that could fill up your brain. You're like, oh, that's something I want to pursue. Like you're not gonna be thinking about that other thing because you did it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. Anyway, this is super dope. I really appreciate you coming. I know it's getting late, so I'll wrap it up. But where can people find the bear?
Michael Ford on IG and Facebook. Michael Ford.
Michael Ford.
Is there any numbers in it?
Nah, no.
All right. Michael Ford.
Nah, just
Okay.
And then mine, Facebook, just Wayne Thomas, and Instagram, just 2 Trill, JUS, the number 2, TRILL, and yeah, that's it.
There we go.
YouTube, I'm still working on the YouTube, but I think it's like just 2 Trill 07. I got a few videos on there.
Projects, anything you guys have in the works?
Just our podcast. Hopefully that'll be kicking off sometime short.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah, podcast, maybe some skits,
Man.
a little short videos. But I don't know. We had an idea for a little short video a while ago, but now with Instagram, and YouTube, you can't use you have to have the rights for them to use music and all that. So music that's already famous, it's already out there. You know what I'm saying?
What song?
We was gonna do John on the Mobb Deep, one of Mobb Deep songs from like the '90s, but I don't know how that would work. If we'll be able to get that done, 'cause they might flag it.
There's certain ways you could do a semitone down.
Okay, so make it like just a little
It's
lower.
just slight variation in it, and then it won't catch it as easily.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, we might have to do something like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully something's capturing. We're on.
All right, one of the cameras.
Yeah, but thank you guys for watching, and appreciate all of you guys. Go check us out on Patreon, and if you guys enjoy the vibes, the show, go support us on there, and really do appreciate that. And subscribe, obviously. I don't know why I have to tell you guys to do that at this point. Subscribe, like the video, and more great vibes to come. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.